Cronkite News, flight attendants nationwide will tell you what they're asking for from the airlines.
And while the rain has left the West Coast, those on the East Coast are currently facing a massive snowstorm. What records are being set?
And rowdy crowds at the WM Phoenix Open caused a shutdown, and some of the fans were even arrested. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Marnie Jordan.
And I'm Jesse Broaders. Thank you for joining us. More and more people are flying, and if you've been to an airport lately, you know it can be a stressful experience.
Now imagine that your job is to spend hours a week in an airplane. Athena Kehoe was at Sky Harbor today, where flight attendants were demonstrating for better work conditions.
That's right, flight attendants gathered at 30 different airports across the country to demand everything from better pay to more family-friend work hours. And while this is not a strike or work stoppage, their voices were very loud. Flight attendants with United, American, Southwest, and Alaska Airlines joined in on the walk. This is the first time flight attendants from this many airlines came together to protest. Flight attendants say they do life-saving work, including medical emergencies, but that work often goes unseen and unappreciated even from their own companies. In a press release, they say they are asking for a better contract with pay increases, noting that some flight attendants haven't had a raise in 5 years.
I think it's fair to say that we are the face of the airline pretty much. We spend a good amount of time with the customers on the airplane. We also save lives.
Coonan said this is not a strike, but they might have to go on one in the future if they don't see any change. We reached out to the airlines, and United Airlines sent us an email back saying they look forward to working with the flight attendants union to negotiate a fair contract. And the first session will be on March 19th. In the newsroom, I'm Athena Kehoe.
The U.S. Senate passed a $95 billion package today, which would provide aid for Ukraine and Israel.
The bill passed and now goes to the House, but House Speaker Mike Johnson has criticized the aid before. $60 billion of the aid would go to help Ukraine, to help in its fight against Russia. The Republican senators against the bill have said the U.S. should focus on problems here instead of sending money abroad. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly has backed the bill. At the state legislature, support for a bill that would allow new treatments for certain mental health conditions.
The therapy involves a certain type of mushroom. Cronkite News reporter Roxanne De La Rosa tells us that they think this treatment will help.
Here at the state capitol, activists, mental health advocates, and first responders gathered here to help highlight the importance of legalizing mushrooms to help treat mental health conditions. This afternoon, mental health advocates and researchers say they support the proposal of making legal the use of mushrooms to treat some mental health conditions. One of them spoke about the benefits of this treatment. Veteran Mike Steele shares his story.
I had heavy anger problems. I would get very withdrawn. To start off, the VA says I have chronic and severe PTSD. I have had 3 traumatic brain injuries, so all the problems concentrating, the anger problems, being withdrawn, all that, I had all those classics.
House Bill SB 1570 is scheduled for consideration in the Senate Committee on Health and Human Services. In Phoenix, Roxanne De La Rosa, Cronkite News.
Valentine's Day is just a day away, and Arizona's Attorney General Chris Mays is warning folks to be wary of online romance scams, which she says affects thousands of people each year. Some warning signs to look for, according to the Attorney General: someone who is pretending to be a hero, like a soldier, but doesn't live nearby, someone who makes plans to meet, but never actually shows up, and be wary of people asking for money or give them gift cards. And finally, never ever send or wire money or cryptocurrency to someone you just met on a dating app.
APS is warning folks about some types of Valentine's Day balloons, which can be dangerous if they come in contact with a power line. That's what happens when a Mylar balloon comes in contact with a power line, and it can spark a fire or cause serious damage to property or people. That's why APS is warning folks to keep these types of balloons tied down or tethered to something, and be sure to deflate them as soon as you're done with them.
Well, dog owners know it. It can sometimes be hard to find green space when it's time to go for a walk.
But guess what? There's an app for that now. Find out about the app that helps dog owners out in a big way when we return.
Plus, sunshine is in our future over the next few days, but could another storm be on the horizon? We'll have your forecast when we return.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage,
against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to see,
and entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
This is CN2 Go. I'm Emily Olson with your Wednesday news briefing.
Do you want to create innovative content for Cronkite News? Do you enjoy listening to podcasts? Then CN2 Go is for you. Cronkite News to Go is a podcast where students cover the latest headlines. Students become audio producers and hosts and will learn how to write, record, and edit stories. You can listen to the latest episodes on these platforms.
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Not having a backyard could keep people from owning a dog.
But some new apps are making it easier for people living in all sorts of situations to own a pet. Cronkite reporter Adriana Gonzalez Chavez tells us how technology is helping pet owners and their pets.
Last year, the Arizona Humane Society had over 2,000 dogs come through their doors. But some new apps are making it easier for people to adopt and own a pet.
I think anytime that we can make owning a pet more accessible for a larger amount of people, it's beneficial not only for pets in the area who need homes, but also for people who maybe don't have backyards or feel like they have quite enough space for a dog to run around.
Apps like Sniff Spot allow people to rent out their backyard, so others in their area can bring their dogs to play and run around.
If they can use a neighbor's yard for a pet, that is going to help make it easier for them to own one and maybe open up a door to a new pet owner that didn't exist before.
It's really clean. It's very well thought out. Like there's chairs for me to sit in and I can kind of like sit back and let them run around. There's water, there's poop bags. Like it's a very well thought out space.
Dog owners like Debbie Popple don't have a large yard of their own, but love having more options for their furry best friends to play in.
For thousands of puppies like this one, apps like Sniff Spot make it more accessible for all kinds of housing situations to be able to adopt.
And Popple says the best part is seeing her dogs happy.
So while I have a little outdoor space, it's not enough for them, I think, to really be outside and really sniff and play and have fun.
In Phoenix, Adriana Gonzalez Chavez, Cronkite News.
It's the perfect time to take your dog for a walk, with plenty of sunshine here in the valley over the last few days. But how long will it stick around?
Sydney Whitty joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with what we can expect for the rest of the week.
We have quite a beautiful evening ahead of us. As a matter of fact, right now we're sitting at 63 with some light winds at 5 miles per hour, and that's only going to continue throughout the evening at 10 p.m. when we hit 57 degrees. Taking a look at our low temperatures across the state for tomorrow, 48 here in Phoenix, 42 down in Tucson, Flagstaff at 20 with our lowest low, and 21 at the Grand Canyon. And taking a look at our high temperatures for tomorrow across the state, 71 in Phoenix, 69 in Tucson, Lake Havasu City at 72, and Flagstaff at 45. And taking a closer look for our highs tomorrow across the valley, we're looking pretty beautiful. So in case you're going to buy some chocolates for anyone, they in fact won't melt in the card tomorrow, with 71 in Phoenix and in Glendale, Queen Creek at 68 and Cave Creek at 66. And taking a look at our 8-day forecast, beautiful skies for tomorrow and the rest of this week, but clouds do return this weekend and throughout the next week as well. But we are above average for this time of year. I'm Sydney Whitty at the Cronkite Weather Center. Back to you.
While the crazy weather we experienced here on the West Coast is gone, those on the East Coast are experiencing massive snowfall and freezing temperatures. Winter storm alerts are in place from Pennsylvania through southern New York and northern New Jersey. Certain parts of Pennsylvania and even New York City are seeing record amounts of snow. And according to FlightAware, hundreds of flights have been either canceled or delayed.
Back in August, Missouri unveiled their first baby box, which was outside of a firehouse. Last week, the box saw its first surrender. The newborn, who was just a few hours old when it was put inside the safe haven baby box at the Melville Fire Station. Baby boxes or baby draws are located in multiple states, including Arizona, allowing a parent to surrender the child, no questions asked. The baby girl is healthy. Thousands of drivers for ride-sharing and food delivery services are planning to strike tomorrow.
Drivers are pushing for better pay and better working conditions. This strike is happening here in the States and overseas in the UK. U.S. drivers are planning to stop giving rides to and from major airports, including Chicago, Austin, and Hartford, between 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. And UK drivers are expected to go on strike for 5 hours. It is unclear what effect the strikes will have here in the Valley.
I'm Paul Schultz.
And I'm Jack Pearson with a preview of your Cronkite Sports Report.
High school basketball playoffs start this week.
After the break, we'll take a look at a sophomore leading the way from Millennium High School.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage,
Against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news,
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
and entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
and develop your skills with the latest technology.
Three, two, one. Cronkite News. Get real professional experience in areas such as reporting, broadcast editing, and behind-the-scenes production, such as technical director and audio.
Kill the mics.
Or go out in the field and cover important local stories
Learn and master the English language.
in a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Cronkite News. The future starts now.
Here at the Walter Cronkite School, students produce award-winning content that focuses on health disparities in underserved communities and how to turn things around. In Cronkite News and Cronkite Noticias, students cover stories that affect people of color, the LGBTQ+ community, people with disabilities, and others across the Southwest.
We highlight big problems that are often overlooked in communities that are underserved.
Those stories not only inform and educate people about the challenges, but we work hard to highlight potential solutions. In the Cronkite Agency, students work to connect with community members through social media campaigns in English and Spanish.
Being a Hispanic myself, it's nice to be able to give back to my own community.
Find more of our health coverage at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Find out what's on Arizona PBS at azpbs.org/schedule.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Paul Schultz.
And I'm Jack Pearson. Thanks for joining us. The fallout continues, Paul, from the WM Phoenix Open this past weekend and the mayhem that occurred due to the weather and unruly fans.
Yeah, Jack, you can't help the weather, but fan behavior was apparently at its worst. So much so that the Thunderbird executive Chance Cosby told the Golf Channel they are seriously considering complete operational changes. This comes after players complained about fans getting out of control. On Saturday, the tournament shut down entry, saying there were too many people. They also cut off alcohol sales. Scottsdale police say there were 54 people arrested during the week of the event. That number is up from 18 a year ago. A total of 211 people were kicked out of the tournament. The Thunderbirds say nothing is off the table as far as changes go, and we'll see what they do.
Yes, indeed, Paul, we will have to see. But to hockey now, the Coyotes are struggling. They're still trying to make a playoff push, but last night the Yotes dropped their 6th straight game. Not good. It's their 3rd loss in a row since the All-Star break, and the team is searching for a way to turn the momentum around.
We had leads in the last 2 games, and everything's on the line for us, and we need these points, and didn't get them. So it's, I don't even really know what to say. It stinks, and we're not feeling too great right now.
I think everybody needs to stay composed and making sure we do that. I think, like I said, we need to tune in on staying out of the box and focusing on how we can do better job defensively.
High school basketball playoffs begin this week, and there are a couple of teams on the girls' and boys' sides that have a shot at grabbing back-to-back titles.
That's right, Paul. We start on the girls' side, where despite being seeded 4th, Desert Vista could be one of the favorites. Rebecca Daly joins us from the Sports Bureau now with more on the Thunder's chances.
Thanks, Jack. Even though their star guard transferred plus a head coaching change, the Thunder's chances have not been derailed. The defending Open State champions are looking for their first back-to-back title. I recently spent time with the team in Phoenix. The Desert Vista girls basketball team won the first Open Division state championship last season. The team was thrown in the fire early this season with 2 tough matchups in California and lost 3 out of the first 5 games, although they quickly turned things around and have not lost a game since then.
I think those 3 losses in the beginning, maybe we can't get those back as much as we want to. They were so big in our growth, and it's really prepared us for where we are now.
Shea Ijewoye is the #1 player in the state and the 44th in the nation. The guard will continue her athletic career at Stanford in the fall. The team captain came up with the motto, "Just us," to keep the team focused on what's important during games.
The only people that matter are the ones in the locker room. At the end of the day, we are the only ones that influence how we play. We're the only ones that are going to go through all of this together, and we're the only ones that are going to experience the end result together.
Former Desert Vista head coach Dave Williams parted ways with the team last offseason, as well as Jersey Robinson, #1 recruit in the nation for the class of 2026. However, this team has no shortage of talent. Some other changes this season include transfer Anaya Rydell from Mountain Point High School. The power forward is currently the 5th-ranked player in the state and will play at Loyola Marymount University in the fall. Desert Vista's new head coach, Aaron O'Brien, brings a strong cohesiveness to the team.
Every single one of these kids wants to reach a team goal and not an individual goal. So when we laid the pathway to reach that team goal, then every single one of them bought in.
The girls have built a strong bond as friends, which has helped them excel on the court, leading them to the ultimate goal of winning the state championship together.
That's like the cherry on top after all this hard work we've all put in, and personally me, all the trials I've been through, and it'll feel good to feel like I accomplished this.
The first round of the Open Division State Tournament starts tonight at 7 p.m. Desert Vista will host 29th seeded Red Mountain. From the Sports Bureau, Rebecca Daly, Cronkite News.
Boys basketball playoffs also start this week. Millennium High School wrapped up the regular season last Thursday, beating Desert Mountain by double digits.
And a sophomore is actually leading the way on that team. Cronkite News reporter Brandon Tran has more on the impact from this top 20 player in the class of 2026.
Cameron Holmes is the #2 prospect in the state of Arizona from the class of 2026. He's listed at 6'5", 195 pounds. He's willing to take on the challenge, guarding the other team's best guards.
He can do multiple things, at his size. He's gotten a lot stronger from his freshman year, and at his size, we post him up. He's got a good mid-range game. He can hit threes. He's a great defender. He blocks a lot of shots.
The sophomore shooting guard faced a lot of pressure, being ranked really high and getting his first offers at 13 years old.
The pressure I have right now, it's very hard, but at the same time, it's very easy. I know if I just keep working on my game, I can just stay at the top. When I got the offer, it meant a lot to me. It just told me, just keep going. Not everybody's going to get an offer at 13 years old.
Regardless of taking down the top-seeded teams ahead of them in Sunny Slope, Notre Dame Prep, and Desert Mountain in the regular season, Coach Amundsen knows every team in the playoffs will give them their best game.
We'll make adjustments if we need to. We got a very deep bench. It's not just the Cam Holmes show. We got Kingston, Sabian. We've got Quincy, Barrett, JT. We go all the way down the road through our top, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys.
Millennium finished the season 21-4, going undefeated against teams in Arizona. But with all their loss against out-of-state teams, in Goodyear, Brandon Tran, Cronkite News.
Millennium will enter the playoffs as the #6 seed with their first-round opponent being Higley. The two teams tip off on Wednesday night.
Paul, let's talk some NBA now, and the Phoenix Suns specifically, who have just added another piece to the roster, picking up veteran forward Thaddeus Young. The Young signing comes after they added two important pieces to the roster at the trade deadline last week when they acquired both Royce O'Neal and David Roddy. With the new addition of Roddy and O'Neal, the Suns expect them to have an impact scoring off of the bench, as they both averaged over 7 points each this season. After a tough loss to the Warriors this past Saturday, the Suns look to rebound in their upcoming home back-to-back against the Kings and Pistons, heading into the All-Star break.
Could be in a better spot for sure. We got to get these last two. And, after break, we all know that's downhill after that. But, we're confident where we are. Our energy is great. Our focus is where it needs to be. We got a tough two. So the ones before the break are always, everybody's just looking forward to just getting on their flights and going wherever they're going. But, we want to be a championship team. Every game matters.
Bradley Beal knows some work needs to be done there, but as the Suns continue to build towards a championship, Young, O'Neal, and Roddy fill some of the holes within that roster.
The Suns are 31-22 with just 2 more games until the All-Star break as they look to build some momentum towards the end of the season. That's going to do it for this edition of the Cronkite Sports Report. Back to Marnie and Jesse.
Coming up next, the numbers are in and the Super Bowl set a new ratings record.
Find out why the 58th Super Bowl was watched more than any game before.
Welcome back. The Super Bowl.
We tell ourselves stories as a nation.
These stories need to be highlighted. They need to be explored.
We're the dreamers. How serious is America's commitment to looking at its history? How can we learn from the past?
Douglas said, "You're going to look me in the eye and see my humanity."
It's illuminating. I'm seeing the expansiveness of my history.
It's pretty great.
There's so much richness to Black life and Black culture.
I think the story of Muslims in America is the story of America.
Tonight, they are free.
I cannot imagine how excited he must have been.
It's a wonderful feeling. This is why we do this.
It makes me even more committed to struggling for a better world. Here at the TV Production and Graphics Lab, we are behind the scenes making the news happen. Gain experience in the control room directing, teledirecting, and rolling the audio of every Cronkite News show. Run the floor and work in a professional environment, honing your skills for the future. Create graphics that will be seen by the local community on Arizona PBS. Be a part of the bloodline that makes the Cronkite News shows possible.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage,
against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Find out what's on Arizona PBS at azpbs.org/schedule.
Welcome back. The Super Bowl is always one of the most watched events of the year.
But this year, the Super Bowl set new records as the most watched TV program in history. CBS says the Las Vegas game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers had 123.4 million viewers, making it the biggest TV audience since the first moon landing in 1969. The big game was on CBS, Paramount+, Nickelodeon, and simulcast in Spanish on Univision. I don't know about you, but I thought it was a great game.
Yeah, it definitely was. That overtime, wow.
Yeah.
Also, the halftime show was super entertaining. Lots of lights, I loved it. But I really just was watching for the halftime show, obviously. For Usher and then seeing Alicia Keys.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's it for Cronkite News. Thanks for joining us.
And to catch any Arizona top stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.